Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and hey, I'm back from my monthly break. Seems like it always happens. Sorry I've been busy. Anyways, the regular season is over. Matter of fact, the entire season is over, and the Rams are the Super Bowl champions. And for this commenter right here, I know who you are. Time's ticking. You have 14 days. Your hair better be blue and yellow by the end of that. Anyways, I guess I gotta look back at my predictions now, whether they're bad or good, and I gotta react to them. I remember some visually, like, what was I thinking? Like, I remember that. And then I remember some, like, okay, that's not that bad. But I don't remember a lot of them, actually. So, because this is a pretty long video, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm not going to go through every single one because that would take forever. But the ones that are like, you know, like, what was I thinking? I'm going to go through and listen to what I had to say. With that being said, you can find this video in the comment section or in the, what's it called, description down below. And here's the title, predicting the entire 2021-2022 NFL season. Accurate, question mark. Don't think it was accurate. Or you can also look in my playlist called My Off Predictions. With that being said, why don't we start with our first team, which was the Cincinnati Bengals. Wow. Okay, what I gotta say?
Bengals. Okay, where do I start with this team? Let's just talk about the future of this team, because the future is in good hands with Joe Burrow. This team's starting to get weapons for Joe Burrow, and they're starting to...
So I think that's what I talk about, and man, this hurts, because I had them going... They're fourth in the AFC North. And they made it to the Super Bowl. They won the AFC. I had them as one of the worst teams in the AFC. Defied all odds. Let's be real. I don't think anybody besides Bengals fans saw this instead of the Bengals. But what I was saying in this is I was saying that the Bengals have a good future. And they do. And I'm glad I at least admitted that. Because maybe I got one thing wrong. But I got that right. Joe Burrow has gotten weapons. That's what I'm saying here basically. I'm not going to go through it really in depth. But yeah, I mean, I just didn't see this explosion happening, and I don't think a lot of people did either. Kind of crazy to see him in the Super Bowl. And matter of fact, I gotta put this screenshot up on the screen right now because this is hilarious to me. You can see this top comment, like, man, nice video. These are pretty accurate predictions, and then you just see the Bengals are 5-11. That's my past prediction video, but I just thought that was kind of funny. Anyways, the next team is the Steelers. By the way, I'm also gonna keep track on my phone how well I did. So if it was a close prediction or not, I have it pulled up. NFL standings, at least I'm doing that right now, that's why I'm looking down. And the Bengals, they went 10-7, so I was 3 games off. So I'm going to keep track of that. Next game is the Steelers. I'm going 8-9, and that's not too bad. They went 9-7-1, so I can't do the math. That was like a 1.5 games off. I think what I talk about here is that I don't know if Big Ben is enough. I think this is his end of his career, and I was kind of right. I remember talking about that. Is Ben Roethlisberger, is he going to be the saving grace to the Steelers? And I had him going negative, which is kind of crazy because Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's just crazy. Is that going to keep on going his entire career? Is he going to play next year without the same quarterback he's played his entire career or coached and still go positive? Who knows? It's kind of crazy that he's a really good coach. And now we have the Ravens, the next one. And I think what I go on here, this is not a bad prediction, so that's why I'm not jumping over this one. Because they went 8-9. I'm actually surprised they did worse, because this was a prediction I was kind of skeptical about. I think what I go on to talk about is the run game. Let's see.
Second in the AFC North, I'm going to have the Baltimore Ravens, and they're going to finish over 500 just at 9-8.
Okay.
Okay, I think this team is going to be much better than the record shows.
That is true. Yes, they are. Much better.
Let's talk about this team. And more specifically, the run game. The run game was like...
Yeah, so I think I go over the run game quite a bit, which was what made this team so good the season before this one that just happened. They had the best run game in the league. So they were winning games because they had a running quarterback. They had a great backfield. The only problem with this team, on offense at least, was that they just didn't have the weapons. They had deep threats every now and then, but I just felt like they were lacking that main slot, the go receiver. Maybe I'm missing somebody. And the defense has always been kind of reliable. Maybe not this past year because they lost 9 in games. But I was only 1 game off. They went 8-9, and I said 9-8. Kind of crazy to see the Ravens go negative. And this one hurts.
Pretty obvious to tell. It's going to be the Cleveland Browns. The first time winning the AFC North in forever. I have them going 12-5. What I gotta say about this team? Like I said, just about the Ravens, they got a really good run game.
Well, yeah, they do.
Starting to build an offensive firepower under Baker Mayfield. I think Baker.
Oh, okay, I've heard enough. I don't think offensive firepower and Baker Mayfield deserves to be in the same sentence. So we're gonna jump ship straight to the AFC East, and I'm not gonna listen to this one. I got this one right. I think this is the first one I got right in the money. 4-13. Am I right? Yeah, Jets went 4-13. Like, I don't know how to describe or listen to what I gotta say here. it's the Jets. I probably said they're bad. Let's just move on to the next team. This is one which I do kind of know what can I say here.
That's going to be the New England Patriots. Now, this team can be a playoff team. I see a lot of people want to put this team in the playoffs.
Well, they did make it.
At 8-9, third in the AFC East. Where do I find this team struggles? Well, that's kind of the hard thing for me right now because...
Oh, so I just kind of admit that I have no clue what I'm talking about. Okay, that's cool. I really didn't know what I was talking about. And it was hard because this team was just... they were in a weird spot. How was I supposed to predict this team who is not going to have their franchise quarterback? Obviously, they had a bad year with Cam Newton. But now they have a rookie quarterback. It was a hard prediction to make. But I actually was close. They did make the playoffs, as I was talking about in the beginning. They were 10-7, so I was 2 games off. Not horrible. Could have been better. The next team... the Dolphins.
That's going to be the Miami Dolphins, second in the AFC East at 10-7. Look, I trust this team quite a bit to win 10 games. Looking at the schedule, there's a lot of winnable games in that schedule.
Okay.
They can beat the division opponents, and I trust Tua quite a bit. I trust what they have building in Miami.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, they did go 9-8. They did go. What were they? Were they 10-6 last year, and they didn't make the playoffs? The Dolphins are kind of getting screwed over these last 2 years. How do you have a winning record both years and missed out in the playoffs? It kind of feels bad. I guess I was just following the same formula, but now it's weird because they fired their head coach, and they did replace him with a good coach, but I feel like that wasn't necessary. What's next for the Dolphins? I don't know. I don't really know much about the Dolphins, to be honest, so that's why I'm just going to skip over this one. Hey, if you want to watch the video yourself, you go ahead and listen to what I say. Next one is the Bills. We're just going to skim through this. The Bills, yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think I mentioned Josh Allen getting better, and I want to listen to that.
At a 13-4.
Just for clarification.
Why do I see this team being good? It's pretty easy. Josh Allen is getting better every single year. Stephon Diggs is one of the most underrated.
Okay, so I just talked about their offense, and yeah, their offense was good, but I don't think I mentioned their defense in this, and that was a big key factor this year. Their defense was solid. They went 11-6, but they were more like a 13-win team, in my opinion. So even though I predicted them to be 13-4, they actually went 11-6, so it wasn't too bad. This next one is one I want to listen to because it's the Texans, and the Texans went 4-13 in real life. And I think the main talk about this, I made this video before Deshaun Watson stuff was covered because remember that went on for months and no one had any clue what was going to happen. It was literally like 2 days before opening kickoff, and people were like, is Deshaun Watson going to play? So I do want to hear what he got to say for the Texans, which I made this video in August.
Right, the Texans, I'm going 5-12.
So it's 1 game off.
AFC North. Look, Deshaun Watson is the big story.
So my question is, am I predicting this with Deshaun Watson or without Deshaun Watson?
For the Texans, and Deshaun Watson is basically 50% of the Texans roster. If they don't have Deshaun Watson, I don't really know what else to say about this team. If they do, there's a little I can say about this team. I'm predicting this as if they still have Deshaun Watson.
Okay, I just answered my question, which I just said a few seconds ago. Yeah, so this is my prediction with Deshaun Watson, and I don't know how much I like it. I'm looking at it right now, and by the way, I'm sorry if you can't see the top few games because of my face cam, but I'm looking at this right now, and I don't really agree with it. I mean, only 1 game better. I feel like Deshaun Watson could at least get 2 more wins out of the Texans because they had moments. And Davis Mills, who had a pretty good year, if you replace him with someone just a little bit better, they could have been a heavy firepower in the passing offense. And that's what that's what they're missing with Deshaun Watson not being there. So 5-12, 1 game better. This one.
And let's talk about third in the AFC South. Let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars at 7-10. You got to say...
I think my expectations were a little too high, let's be honest. I thought Trevor Lawrence was football Jesus. I know he looks like football Jesus, but he's not. At least in his rookie season. I mean, remember what people thought of Joe Burrow after his first year, but now look at him. Second year, Super Bowl quarterback. Obviously he didn't win it, but still, I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence can do the same, but he has the potential if the Jaguars get it right. Doug Peterson's new head coach. I don't know if I mentioned Urban Meyer at all. I think Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, I was like, yeah, this is the duo of the century. This is going to be the future of Jacksonville, and that went pretty well. They went 3-14. I had them at 7-10. I think my expectations were a little too high for a team coming off the number 1 draft pick. And what do you know? They have the number 1 draft pick again this year. So, yeah, we'll go and skip this one because I'm a little embarrassed in that one. Colts.
All right, so second in the AFC South is going to be the Colts at 8-9. Look, this team is in a pretty bad...
So I was 1 game off. They went 9-8.
Spot right now. Carson
spot.
Wentz just got injured. We don't know if he's going to be out for a month or out for a week.
Okay, I remember this. I remember when all this went down. Carson Wentz got injured at the beginning of the season, and people were like, what's going to happen? Carson Wentz is the entire field of this team. And it turns out he wasn't. It was Jonathan Taylor. And I don't think I mentioned Jonathan Taylor once in this video. Also, not a big fan of this. I said the Colts would lose 5 games in a row right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't know about that. I was 1 game off from the Colts, but yeah, I think my main talks was Carson Wentz, and it wasn't enough Jonathan Taylor, so that's not my favorite prediction, even though it was only 1 game off. First, obviously the Titans. What I got to say?
And that, of course, is going to be the Tennessee Titans, first in the AFC South at 11-6. This team has a big 3 building, which you could honestly just say big 4 now, because now you have Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and now Julio Jones.
Okay, so I think that's my main talk about the Titans. And I really wouldn't say big 4 anymore. Maybe just one good player and the mediocre quarterback who kind of gets carried because he's always in a good team and system. No offense to Ryan Tannehill, but I mean, let's be real here. He's okay. He's just in a good system. Derrick Henry, he got injured by week 8. Julio Jones just was not getting reps, and I think he was also getting injured. A.J. Brown, didn't he also get injured a little bit? I don't know. They just weren't really healthy. They weren't fully healthy. This is kind of like what could have the Nets been if Irving, Harden, and KD actually played at least, I don't know, 50 games together. This is kind of what the Titans were last year. And they were the number 1 seed even through all that diversity, which shows a lot of if this team could have stayed healthy, would have this team been in the Super Bowl and could have they won it? Honestly, that would have been cool. I would have liked a Titans-Rams rematch Super Bowl or something new. Maybe they wouldn't be 1 yard short this time. But, yeah, the Titans, they missed opportunity. Number 1 seed failed. Mainly because of injuries in the Big 4, as I claim it was. But yeah, we'll move on. They went 11-6, my prediction. They actually went 1 game better in real life, 12-5. Alright, so we are in the AFC West now, the last AFC division.
Alright, the AFC West, this is the...
And I don't think I'm going to listen to this one much, but I was 1 game off. The Broncos went 7-10 in real life. And I think I was taking contribution of their defense was getting better, and I didn't have faith in the quarterback play. I think that's what I said. But one thing I do got to point out, just by looking at this, I don't like this. If you guys can notice it before I say it, do you guys notice it? Look at the division opponents. L, 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 L. I had them going 0-6 versus the division. I don't like that. I feel like the Broncos are good enough to win at least 1 game, and I don't remember what or how many games they won was division, but they didn't get swept by every team. Yeah, I mean, even though I was 1 game off, I could have done that a little bit better. But that's the Broncos. Next team is the Raiders.
And that's going to be the Las Vegas.
What I gotta say?
7-10. Once again, I can see this team being much better than this. I mean, think about their offense.
They were better,
decent, isn't it? And they got a new stadium, and they're about to have fans in the stadium too, and they're about to be.
Okay, so I think where I'm going with this is that yeah, their offense is good. Yeah, this is a brand new team, brand new rebuild, brand new face, new stadium. Yeah, new everything. They should be good. And yeah, it worked out, right? I mean, they went 10-7, made the playoffs. What else can you really complain about? I think Raider fans were at least happy to get a shot in the postseason, even though it didn't last long. But still, it was pretty cool. And yeah, their offense, it had its moments. And I think the problem with the Raiders is that they just can't stay consistent. But I do gotta say this: the Raiders are probably, I don't know what word to use, maybe the most valiant or resilient. I guess one of those words. Because of what they went through this season. I mean, everybody and their mom on this team decided to drink under the influence. I don't understand that. Coach Gruden, resurfaced emails. We're not going to talk about all this, but yeah, I just don't understand it.
Rocking, they got Darren Waller, they got Derek Carr, and they got Henry Ruggs, and they got.
Well, they don't got Henry Ruggs anymore. Okay, let's go to the next team, and we have the Chargers, and I think I just talk about Justin Herbert for 3 minutes because he's so attractive. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I think Herbo is the future of this team, and I think they should have been in the playoffs last year. It's kind of unfortunate they didn't get in. There was a lot of good teams in the AFC that were just looking outside from it. They finished 9-8, so this is 1 game better than what they did in real life. But yeah, I think this is a possibility next year. They should make the playoffs next year. I like their O-line and Herbo. I think they're doing a lot of good stuff. They got some key free agents to sign. Or not free agents, what's it called? Well, free agents of their team. They got to re-sign is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this team could be right back in the talks. And I think we'll have 2 LA contenders next year, which is kind of cool. Even though one is not even close to the popularity as the other one. They're not really both popular teams. It's kind of what happens when you move 2 random teams to LA. Not the best marketing decision by the LA or by the NFL, but hey, at least LA has football, even though they're more like a baseball and basketball season or city. Anyways, let's move on to the Chiefs. I'm not gonna listen to this one as well. I think I got this one right. Yeah, I got this one right on the money. About time. And looking at this, I did pretty good with these. I think they did lose the Ravens, Bills, did they lose some Titans? I think I did good on this. I think I just talk about Patrick Mahomes for 3 minutes because what else is there to talk about? I guess you could say Kelsey or Hill or whoever you want to say. And I guess the problem is, yeah, their defense. But besides that, 12-5, I got this one right. I'm kind of happy with that one. We can finally go to the NFC. Let's start picking up the pace. The Lions, 3-14. I think they went 3-13-1 because they tied. So they were. I was a half game off, which kind of sucks, man. All you guys had to do was beat the Steelers, or the Steelers got to beat you. I mean, whatever. You just there shouldn't be ties in this league. Anyways, yeah, I think what I talk about is the quarterback decision, and obviously Matthew Stafford, his time is up. It did start to be up, but I was just saying Jared Goff is going to be nothing for this team, and I was right. I think I can listen to me saying that.
With the NFC North, and in fourth is the Lions at 3-14. Look, Jared Goff, he's not.
Yeah, and the first thing I say is Jared Goff. So that says a lot. We'll come back to Jared Goff talks in a minute when we get to the Rams and the Bears.
And third is going to be.
So I'm going 6-11, and I think that's right. Another right prediction. There we go. And I think what I talk about is that they've spent all this time. They've had a good defense for a few years, but they've wasted its potential. Their defense is not good anymore. Not as good, at least, I should say. And their offense is just lacking, and I don't trust Justin Fields to be the saving grace for this team quite yet, though he could be in the future. That's just summing up what I said for the Bears, but hey, I got that one right, so yeah. How about the Vikings?
In which second NFC North?
So I was 1 game off, so I'm doing really good with NFC North. Only 1 game are correct, and this is pretty good.
Vikings. Okay, where do I start this team? Let's talk about the offense because I think Kirk Cousins.
So I don't really want to listen to myself list names again, but yeah, I mean their offense. Kirk Cousins is an underrated quarterback. It feels weird to say, but he's been playing good these last few years. And obviously, the receiving core has been pretty decent these last few years, though it's aging a little bit. Justin Jefferson is there to, be the youth of what's needed, the receiving core. They've always been able to run the ball, so their offense is not a problem. I don't know what is the problem with this team, but I did kind of get something right. They started the season pretty poorly, and this happened the year prior, too. They don't start the years really good. If they get off the better starts, this team could be a playoff team. And they were close. They were 8-9 in real life, just 1 game off, but they could have been there. The Packers, I had them going 11-6, and they actually did better. I think what I was talking about here, let's just listen to what I'm about instead of summarizing it.
And that, of course, the Green Bay Packers first in the NFC North. I don't have them as dominant as the last 2 years. I only have them winning 11 games. But, of course, this team is hungry for a title. Aaron Rodgers, who's been in this really weird situation the entire offseason, he comes back, and he is desperate for a ring.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was hungry for a ring, but we all know how that went down. He starved on it. But, yeah, I mean, that's the Packers. Let's just go to the Eagles, and
all right, we start.
This isn't a good one. What I got to say?
The NFC East with the 4th place team, and that's going to be the Eagles. They have going 4-13. I like Jalen Hurts, and I think Jalen Hurts can be a good quarterback, but as for now, I don't.
So I think I just ramble on about Jalen Hurts and how this team is not the same since they won the Super Bowl, but even if, saying all that, this is bad. I mean, what did the Eagles go on? The Eagles went 9-8. This was my worst prediction. 5 games off. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. The Eagles did make the playoffs. I don't know what I didn't see in this team, but it wasn't enough. Eagles was another team that I just had no clue about. And obviously that's just on me not researching a team before I predicted. I'm not going to talk about this one anymore. Let's go to the Giants. I thought the Giants would be at least somewhat decent. And the reason why is because their defense. I thought their defense would be good. And I do mention this video. I'm saying Daniel Jones. I don't trust him as a starting quarterback. Let's hear it.
The Giants. This team, I actually see them, which they can compete for the division title, but I have them falling short. I just still don't really trust Daniel Jones that much.
So, I'm just talking about quarterback play. I don't trust it. And Saquon Barkley, he's made of glass. He just can't stay healthy. And the defense, well, it's not quite there. The main problem is the offense. Offensive coordinating, horrible. Coaching, horrible. Play calling, horrible. Quarterback play, horrible. They're going to get there eventually. But their defense is solid enough that if their offense is good, they could probably win games again. Washington,
Surprise, surprise.
I have them going 8-9, so I think I just didn't see them repeating. They weren't really a good team when they won it last year. No team deserved to win the NFC East last year. So this was actually a 1-game difference. The Giants was like a 3-game difference. But yeah, I talk about how their defense is, it's whatever, and their offense is, it's gonna be. I don't think Taylor Heineke is the man, even though he's a good quarterback. I love him to death, but I don't think he is the man to carry this team at the moment. I hope he's still there next year, but I think Washington, the Commanders, the first time ever saying that, kind of weird, the Washington Commanders. But yeah, I think a new quarterback is probably going to fit the scheme next year for Washington because that's what they're pushing. Maybe Russell Wilson, who knows. Next team, not going to talk about this one too much. It's who won the NFC East. I was 2 games off, but it's the Cowboys. What I go on the ramble about is I just say, yo, Dak Prescott's back. He's going to be comeback player of the year. He's going to save this team. The Cowboys are going to be good. The Cowboys are going to Super Bowl. And I think I just go on about that for a few minutes. And yeah, the Cowboys doing the NFC East. So let's go and skim to the Atlanta Falcons, which, not bad. I'm going 6-11 in this. And they went 7-10 in real life. So actually a little bit worse prediction. I didn't expect it. I think what my main concern for the Atlanta Falcons was that their defense has had no fixing in the last few years. All they care about is their offense. But now looking at it, they finally had some defensive superstars step up. And I'm talking about AJ Terrell. And I think the future of Atlanta should be defense. I think they could go into this draft and score an excellent defensive player like Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame, the safety. And boom, they have a Legion of Boom in Atlanta. I think that'd be awesome. And Matt Ryan could have something for his last few decaying years at Atlanta, which sucks. I think that being an Atlanta quarterback has aged him 5 years every single season he's played. So hopefully the future of Atlanta is good. And then next year, this division's going to be weak. I think everybody's saying that. But Atlanta has a shot to win this division next year. You heard it from me first. Sorry, the hiccups. Next team I do want to hear about, it's the Saints.
And this one could be a surprise. Third in the NFC South is the New Orleans Saints at another 8-9 team.
They went 9-8 in real life.
Teams, I know. Why is that? Well, originally in the previous prediction video, it was like, they just lost Drew Brees. They didn't lose anything else. But now looking at it, this team has not been doing so well recently with the roster. They're having trouble with a quarterback. They have some suspensions. They have some...
So, at the beginning of the season, the Saints were in a pretty bad spot. They were able to lift through it, and they eventually started the season good. That started with a good win versus the Green Bay Packers. They destroyed them. The Packers obviously were just outplayed in every aspect, and it looked like the Saints were still a competing team. One thing I gotta say, injuries. It sucks. If Jameis Winston did not get injured, this team was competing for the division title. It really sucks to say, but this team could have been better. And even though it was 1 game off, injuries killed them, everything killed them, and now they're going to be in cap trouble, I think. I think they're in cap trouble. At least the year prior they were. Who knows what's next for this team? I don't think Taysom Hill should be a starting quarterback. Trevor Siemian, also his time should be up. Jameis Winston, if he's back, hopefully he'll be a Saint quarterback again. Who knows? That's the Saints. Next, the Panthers. What I gotta say?
The Carolina Panthers, which will actually have them at 8.
And they went 5-12 in your last. This was 3 games off.
8-9 as well. I like this team. I think this is going to be the year where Sam Darnold has to prove that he's actually a decent quarterback. He's been in a bad system all his career. So if Sam Darnold...
So that didn't happen. Sam Darnold started out the season good. He was like the leading rushing quarterback. I remember that. It was funny. And then I don't know what happened. He just started throwing 3 picks a game and then got benched. I think PJ Walker, the XFL MVP, stepped in and played over Sam Darnold, the quarterback who's been on a starting roster his entire career. And it has not worked out in New York. I kind of liked how their first game was versus the Jets, too. That was kind of funny. But, yeah, they didn't do this good. It was disappointing. They should have done this good. I guess the defense just was allowing like 50 points a game, too, I think, at least. I don't know. There just wasn't much going on for this team. And it was kind of disappointing. The next team, I'm not going to bother explaining or listening to. I will explain real quick. The Buccaneers, I had them going 14-3. They went 13-4 in real life. The reason why, they brought back their entire Super Bowl roster. The only thing that went wrong was obviously it's hard to repeat success in the NFL and in this league. Injuries. Injuries killed them in the regular season. They didn't do bad. They still went 13-4. But going into the playoffs, we saw what cost them. And it was because of injuries the entire year in their secondary. You know what happened on the final Bucs defensive play? a 50-yard pass to Cooper Kupp from the Rams, won the game, kicked a field goal after that, went on to win the Super Bowl. Who would have thought? It wasn't the problem with the safety. Injuries killed the secondary of the team. Secondary just wasn't as good as well. Tom Brady had a good year, but it just wasn't enough for Tom Brady to win one more. And maybe that's into Tom Brady. He says he's going to retire, but I don't trust it at all, which I really hate to say. This prediction, man, I want to hear. I'm excited to hear this one because I remember this one visually. You guys were baking on me for so long for this prediction, but I'm glad I am right.
Let's talk about my most controversial pick in the video. It's the Seattle Seahawks at 4th. How do they go from first to worst in their division? Let me explain. This team allows every single team to stay in games.
Yes, they do.
Russell Wilson, he's good, but I just don't trust this team anymore. I just feel like they always...
I know that doesn't sound like much, but what I'm going to explain is I'm saying this defense is keeping teams in the game. This O-line is not protecting Russell Wilson. This team is not doing enough for the quarterback they have, and that might be a common theme now. Unless Russell Wilson leaves and he goes join the Washington Commanders or whatever he's going to do. I don't know. But I'm saying this team was just not doing its part in helping the offense succeed. DK Metcalf was there. They couldn't really run the ball. They've never been a good running team. Their defense just wasn't there either. Tyler Lockett, he's a deep threat every now and then. He plays good like 3 games a year. Russell Wilson, I mean, obviously he's Russell Wilson. He's an MVP quarterback. I think he won MVP, right? He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback at least. He's a good quarterback, and he deserves better. And I just didn't see it with all those factors. So I said I'm going 8-9. They actually went worse. They went 7-10. So this prediction wasn't even right. This prediction was better than what they went. And a lot of you people, I'm not begging on you guys or the Seahawks. I'm just got to point this out. Thought the Seahawks were going to be like 12 wins. Wow, it's crazy. It really is. That's the Seahawks. Next one is the Cardinals. Not going to bother explaining, even though this is kind of crazy because I had the Cardinals going 500 out of nowhere. The Cardinals and Bengals were the 2 teams this year that just went, like, where did they come from? And the Cardinals, it seemed like they should have been good. So, I mean, yeah, 9-8 makes sense. And I'm not going to explain this one too much. They did start off really good. They're like 8-0. And then they just disappeared. Like, I actually got this kind of right. They just lost. Like, they lost to the Lions. They lost to the Rams. They collapsed at the end of the season. I think they finished 11-6, which is only 2 games better. And then they lost in the wild card. Next team is the Niners.
That's going to be the same.
And I'm proud to say I got this one right because the Niners was a team I thought people were underrating the next year. They did go 10-7, so I got it right. But they were 3rd, so they weren't 2nd. So, you know, a little off there, but got the record right. And I think what I describe here is just their defense. I think finally everyone's back from injury, but that wasn't even the main factor of the Niners. Of course, they had a good defense, but the saving grace was the man himself from the University of South Carolina, Deebo Samuel. I can't stress enough how much that man elevated the Niners' run game. And Elijah Mitchell, too. I got to mention him. Great steal in the draft, Elijah Mitchell. Jimmy G is the person in class that does nothing and gets an A+ in the project. That's who he is. This team is good. If this team got Aaron Rodgers, let's just say that Aaron Rodgers was on this team last year, they would have won 13, 14 games and would have won the Super Bowl. No doubt. This team is good. Just missing that quarterback play. And that's what the Rams were last year. So do you guys think the Niners, if they get a quarterback this offseason, they might be Super Bowl contenders. The final team, the Rams. What do I got to say about them because we have to listen to them. They're the Super Bowl champions.
Team right here. In which our final prediction for this video and first in the NFC West is the LA Rams. This team had one of the best defenses in the league last year.
They did.
There was only one thing they were missing, a quarterback. What did they do?
And I'm glad I mentioned that because I'm talking about how good this team is and they were just missing one thing. I was just saying this with the Niners. One thing they're missing. A quarterback. What did they do? They went out and got a quarterback. And guess what? They're world champions. It is crazy how well this team went all in. They don't even need draft picks. It's pretty genius. And they worked out. They executed it perfectly. They got rid of their draft picks. They brought in Matthew Stafford, a quarterback which was always been good in a struggling system. They were able to get players back. They were to sign OBJ. Huge pickup in the season. They made all the right moves. They moved all the right pieces. And they deserve to be Super Bowl champions. So, that's it. I think I do have these right here, which you can look at right here. The gold is the playoff teams, which I predicted. I'll have to do a part 2 on the playoffs because this is taking on way too long. But as you can see, the Browns, Bills, Titans, Chiefs, those are my predicted division winners, with the wild cards being the Ravens, Dolphins, and Chargers. And we take a look at the NFC as well. Same story, the winners in gold, or the playoff teams in gold, Packers, Cowboys, Bucks, Rams, and then you have the Vikings, Niners, and Cardinals. So, that's it. That's my regular season prediction. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to see a playoff prediction reaction, let me know down below. Anyways, that's it. I'll see you guys later.